Oh, hello. You caught me at it. Well, this is the garden of our house in Castle Donington, and I am, as usual, Bishop Peter Fox. And I'm just seeing if we can get the weather here today. It's absolutely fantastic. I'm just hoping we're going to get a little bit, just a little bit of breeze. You know, a bit of wind. I know wind isn't something you always want, but that's what we need today, because I want to really give this a try. This is one of my favourite kites. I've got loads of kites. I'm very fond of kites, and this is one of my favourites. Isn't it beautiful? Don't you think she's a lovely thing? This came from Kuala Lumpur. We passed through there on our way back from Papua New Guinea years ago, and it was my birthday. And Angie and my son Daniel, they got me this as my birthday present, and she is really lovely. And I'm just hoping I'm going to get a little bit of nice steady. You need a nice steady wind for this one, and we'll see how well she flies later. It's funny, really, isn't it, where you find your peace. People find it in different places. I've never been a sporty type, but I know some people. They find their peace out, you know, they find it out on the soccer field, or maybe playing cricket or anything like that. A lot of people, like me, we love a good walk, or we might enjoy swimming, or whatever it might be. And of course, everybody, well, most of us anyway, love a garden. I mean, you know, a garden is a lovesome thing, Wordsworth said. Rose plot, fringe pool, and all that stuff. Anyway, we've learned to really love our garden here. It's if I said to you, it's a little bit of peace and quiet, doubtless you're thinking to yourself, maybe you can hear in the background, because this is Castle Donington, and you can always hear the speedway over there. But after you've been here a little while, you just kind of blot that out. So, not necessarily quiet, but certainly peaceful. Thing is, we all have these places or things that we do that bring us a sense of peace. It's just that chance to kind of switch off a little bit from all the busyness and the rush, and get away from all that, and just, well, sort of learn to be ourselves again. You know, who we are when nobody's watching us and nobody's expecting anything of us. We're just being ourselves. I think that's really essential. It's getting more essential, really, in places like the West, the cities and the towns where things become so busy. We need a chance to get out of all that, and even if it's just 5-10 minutes, have a bit of peace, a little bit of quiet in the middle of all that rush and bustle. And for me, one of them is flying kites. You know, you're down there on the ground, tethered to something up there, sailing in the blue, and there's something wonderfully restful about that, just watching something floating on the end of your line. It's a little bit like being a fisherman, except you're not trying to catch fish, you're trying to catch the wind. And I love it. And when I'm doing that, sometimes I think of nothing at all, and sometimes thoughts just come into my head unbidden. I think about people, I think about situations, and little by little it kind of puts everything back into perspective. Now, you will have something like that, and it may not be exactly the same as mine or the person next door. You have something that's just your own, something you love to do. Are you a handicrafts person? Do you like making things? Do you like you know, the great outdoors and the world of nature? Maybe just a good book, you know, and a cup of coffee, and your feet stuck up for a little while. Everybody needs that, and that's why we call it prayer. Now, they don't always call it prayer. I have to tell you, some of the ways that some people pray, and the way they expect me to pray sometimes as a bishop, well, I'll be honest with you, they seem a bit boring. I can't help wondering if God doesn't sit up there sometimes thinking to himself, This is all very well, and I'm glad they remembered, but it would be nice if they just talked to me instead of reading it all out of a book. He likes sometimes for us just to be ourselves. Just stand still a little bit in the middle of it all. My friend Graham used to say, you need to stand still so God can get at you. And it turns out prayer really isn't that difficult. Prayer isn't about saying the right words necessarily. It's not about anything sort of religious necessarily. It can be that. But it can also just be flying a kite, walking the dog, messing around in the garden, digging a few plants, looking around you, just thinking to yourself, God, what a wonderful thing this life can be. Yeah, it's prayer, Jim, but not as we know it. God bless.